This episode, this episode, I haven't laughed that much since Pinkie Pride. Testing, 1, 2, 3 is just filled to the brim with creativity. Every scene has Wonderbolt history, impressive animation, engaging conflicts, or funny visuals, or even sometimes all of the above. In fact, I can only remember one scene where I was rolling my eyes, and that was only for a few moments. This is hands down one of the best episodes of Season 4. Maybe among my top 10 for the whole series, if only for the raw entertainment value. As the episode begins, we are actually given a sneak peek at how the episode's conflict will get resolved without the audience even realizing it on the first viewing. Seriously, go back and watch this first scene again. This is an excellent example of great writing, when you can present the solution in a way that it feels like normal character interactions. And of course we get some great lines like, "Your freakouts are so epic you sing whole freakout arias about freaking out." Rainbow Dash makes a really good argument by using a reference to the Season 3 opener. Now there's a callback that isn't just for fan pandering. I'm also impressed at all the fun little scene transitions we get to see throughout the episode. The animators are being given more opportunities to make their work interesting. And even with the shadows on the ground, they're giving a more realistic portrayal when Rainbow and Twilight are flying over the houses. When I take a look back at some of the Season 1 or even the Season 2 episodes, I can really appreciate just how far DHX has come in their animation. Something else that many others may not have noticed is when Rainbow, Aloysius, and Spike are doing their little interlude, they're actually recreating the background music that was first played during Wonderbolt Academy. There were so many fun little tidbits throughout these scenes, but even when there was a need to step back from the comedy and make things more serious, the conflict and the characters are presented very well. This doesn't feel like an argument just to move the story along, but rather a near-perfect fit on how these characters would handle this stressful situation. Even more so with the calm and quiet Fluttershy having to raise her voice just to get everyone to take a step back and think about what they're doing. Another example of great writing. Something else I find very intriguing is the fact that the first commander of the Wonderbolts went by the name of Firefly. This is the first time in the whole series that her name has ever been mentioned. What makes this so interesting, however, is the fact that Lauren Faust's original design of Rainbow Dash was modeled after G1 Firefly. Turns out that Lauren couldn't use the name or design of Firefly for G4, so instead we were given the Rainbow Dash we know today. But now that Firefly has been mentioned, along with several other ponies who have been leaders of the Wonderbolts throughout the centuries, I'm sure we're going to be getting a lot more interesting fan fictions on the history of the Wonderbolts. I can only imagine all the new headcanons that will be coming out of these history lessons. But even with all the impressive elements in this episode, I was not prepared for Pinkie Pie. I never would have thought I'd see Pinkie Pie rapping in an MLP episode. Even with presenting yet another style of music in the show, the lyrics, the voice work, and especially the presentation make it so memorable. The animation has a more grainy look to it, like watching an old VHS tape. The appearance of vinyl scratch is certainly a welcomed addition, and feels like a much more natural cameo than in previous episodes. The dance moves, the baggy clothing, even the backgrounds gave me such a nostalgia trip. This is a near-perfect homage to an early 90s music video. And I've already rewatched this scene at least half a dozen times today. That song is going to be in my head all week, and I'm sure it'll still make me laugh from just the absurdity of Pinkie Pie doing a rap music video and yet pulling it off so well. And then we have the moral. One way of learning isn't better than another. After all, every pony is unique and individual. Now there's an easily relatable lesson for most everyone. Sometimes the lessons in MLP would only relate with the audience if they have gone through that particular situation, which usually means that there is a chunk of the audience who aren't able to put themselves in the character's conflict. With this lesson though, how many of us out there haven't ever gone through something like this? Trying to learn about a subject through methods that have worked for others before we're able to figure out the unique method that works for ourselves. I, for one, learned that taking notes in class actually worked against my ability to learn. For most anyone else, that would be a huge detriment to their studying, and most everyone was trying to tell me that fact. But throughout college, I figured out that I was an exception to that rule, and I ended up doing far better in my learning than at any other point throughout my entire education. And much like Rainbow Dash, I was able to overcome my challenges with learning when I could multitask. Focus my mind on other things while taking a more subtle and even passive method to learning. It's not something that works for everyone. I dare say that only a select few could make that work well in the long run, but I love seeing a lesson that shows everyone has their own approach to learning, and that Twilight had to accept her methods were not the best for others. Bravo to Amy Keating-Rogers and the rest of the MLP staff for putting together such a memorable story. There have been several episodes this season that were interesting during the first viewing, but didn't really draw me in to watch it again. There have been other episodes that had certain standout scenes worthy of a rewatch, but didn't make me want to go through the whole story from start to finish. Testing 123 is one of those select episodes of Season 4 that immediately made me want to watch the whole thing over again right after it ended. I like seeing the animators getting even better with their presentation. I like seeing all the main 6 taking part without any of it feeling like filler. I like seeing both Rainbow and Twilight having a conflict where they end up teaching and learning from each other in a way that feels natural. In the end, the positives far outweigh any little nitpicks I have with the episode, and I'm sure that I'll be watching it again many more times in the future. In the meantime, I would love to hear your thoughts. Given what we've seen of Rainbow and Twilight's behavior in the past, do you think the conflict presented here works for their characters? Did having all the main 6 take part in their own scenes make the episode feel any better or worse? Do you have any thoughts on the mention of Firefly and all these other historical figures? What are your favorite standout moments in this episode? I would like to hear your thoughts on Testing 123, and here's looking forward to all the new fan art surrounding Pinkie Pie's new rapping persona. I am Dr. Wolf, and I look forward to hearing from you.